Wealth Month.
Yes.
Those of you who got our newsletter, or actually the newsletter, went out today. It's officially Black Wealth Month. We always call it Black History Month. And this month we are calling it Black Wealth Month. So welcome everybody.
So I love how, as a community, we're just continually claiming our narrative, because I was watching Lamar Wilson had a live today, and he renamed it, I think, Black Future Month, right? Because he was talking about the future of Black America. So he was saying how it's not about Black history, it's Black future, because they were talking about an opportunity for the future. And I just love how we're not getting amnesia, right? Over the past year and a half, we're remembering and staying focused and reclaiming just where our destiny is. And I just love that about us. I really, as a people, I love it.
Me too. And it's not isolated. I mean, it's all over the place. Absolutely. It's all, we are such in a moment right now. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Hey, Talisha.
Hello.
Hey, Talisha.
Hey.
Yes.
Yes, everybody. So we have so much to talk about tonight. We have an update for our 10K Project family with regards to where we are with the 10K Project and some things that are going to be happening. And we'll take Q&A. And then if we have time, we're going to talk about equity crowdfunding overall and how it can help build the Black community, a lot more about what equity crowdfunding is. So we want to say hello to Maurice. We've got North Carolina in the house. We got Georgia, we got Virginia, Massachusetts, Texas, New York, Maryland, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona, Tennessee, Brooklyn, Detroit, Queens, Wappinger Falls, New York, California. Hello to everybody. We got Philly, we got Atlanta, Michigan, Indiana, Georgia. Oh, yes, that is my dog.
He's usually a little more intimidating. Tonight he sounds a little yappy.
Well, it's been snowing here all day. So and my mother's vacuuming. So anyway, it is the house. We got Maryland in the house, so Chicago, Nashville. I'm gonna put myself on mute and I'm gonna let Awana talk. I'm going to let you introduce things here, and I'm gonna get the presentation queued up, everybody. So I do apologize for my dog.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. As Cherie stated, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. And we're so glad you guys have decided to join us. Hello, Dexter. Good evening to you from the Bronx. Always give the Bronx people a shout out because I'm from the Bronx. Right. All right. So Cherie, you want me to read since you got some background noises, or are you going to take it?
Yeah, it's the same as what we talked about. So you can just read and give the explanation, and I'll pop in if I need to.
All right, that's fine. So you'll just drive for me, right? All right. So we wanted to take you through just an update on where we're going with the 10K project. We've got some changes to talk to you guys about this evening. For sure, if you want to go to the first slide. So if you guys remember, where the 10K project came from is Cherie in another group that we all are members of kept talking about if 10,000 people just got together and invested in a Black business, and we could really, change the future of these businesses that are grossly underfunded. And so we had this amazing idea that we were going to be a crowdfunding portal, and that was going to kind of make everything better. The more we are really thinking about it and going through the process and seeing the industry and spending time with you guys here in the 10K project, we realize that becoming a portal is going to divert us from the mission in some ways. And what I mean by that is part of what Cherie's original vision was really working with the entrepreneurs, right? And working with the investors so that we can change mindsets and really grow that generational wealth. And one of the things we've learned while we were going through the process for approval is our hands are really cuffed when you become a portal. And so when you become a portal, you are literally just the intermediary between the investor and the entrepreneur. You can't do anything else, right? So all the amazing education we've been trying to do and that we want to continue to do, you can't do that because your role is just to be the place where I think for you guys who've been here since the beginning, I use this analogy of dating, right? The portal really is the place where you two meet, and that's it, right? We can't pass you the dinner menu, right? We can't help you choose the restaurant. We can't do any of that stuff. We literally are just the place where you meet. And as we started really thinking about what that means for us from a future standpoint, it's not the complete vision that we wanted to withhold or to uphold. And so we made a very difficult decision to pull back on being the crowdfunding portal and put in the forefront the education that we want to do. I see the face. I see the meme. Stay with me. Stay with me. It allows us to really be hands-on, and that's what we want it to be. We didn't just want to sit back and get a percentage of the raise, which is ultimately the crowdfunding platform's revenue model, right? You let the two, you become the place the two come together, and then you sit back and you just get a percentage of the raise. And that's not really what we see for the future. We really started this based on that vision Cherie had. And as all the other officers started kind of inputting what we feel and the impact we want to make on the world, it really was about working hand in hand with the entrepreneur and with the investor. And we just can't do that as a crowdfunding platform. So we've made the very difficult decision to pull back from that. We will no longer move forward with our existing application for SEC and FINRA as a result of that. And so because the model has changed, all of our roles had to be reassessed in determining what the new business model needs, right? And so as a result of the business model change, we will have some familiar faces that you guys won't see as often, but they will drop in from time to time because they love us as we have topics that they are the specialists in. And so I'll start with the technology piece. You know, the crowdfunding portal was all tech, right? And so we had Talisha on board to help build that for us. And since we're not taking that direction anymore, we don't need a chief technology officer. And as much as we wanted to try to fit, you know, the Talisha's amazing skill sets, the other skill sets that she had into this business model, it's just not fair to her to try to hold her hostage because we love her so much in a business model that does not have much of any tech, right? And so as a result of that, Talisha will be stepping away from the 10K project as our CTO. In addition to Talisha stepping away, Eric, who was our Chief Business Development Officer, will also step away for much of the same reason. Business development was all about bringing the entrepreneurs, engaging them so that we can get them to come on our crowdfunding platform, right? And so because we're not going to be a portal, we don't need that role at that level. And so Talisha and Eric will be stepping away after the next few weeks. Like I said, they're going to be coming in and talking to us about some other topics. They'll both be joining us. I believe it's next week to talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency, which is something that we're all so passionate about. But the two of them are experts in the field. And then as other things come up where they are the specialists, we will be utilizing their expertise whenever we can. Eric and Talisha, did you guys want to say anything?
Oh, ma'am, I think you covered it pretty much for me.
Same here. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are you sure you want to go back to your slide? Okay. So what are we going to continue? We're going to continue these Monday fireside chat meetings. We're going to continue the Tuesday member-only webinars and the peer-to-peer coaching. That's going to be Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern Time. We're going to continue the Friday business sessions. We are changing that time from 1 p.m. every Friday to noon every Friday. Right? That's going to start in March, where the new times, we already had some scheduled for 1 o'clock. So I believe all of this month they're at 1 o'clock, and then starting March, they'll be at noon. So start putting that on your calendar to take lunch with us and join us for those sessions. We're still going to have the Knowledge Center, right? That's our database of content. We plan to populate that with as much content as we possibly can, so that the business entrepreneurs and the investors can have a wealth of knowledge to go to. We also are going to continue with our expert directory. Dr. Keisha is working now with the developer to make some tweaks to that, and then we're going to get that populated. We thought we had it ready, but then we decided we didn't need to manage it as tightly as we originally thought we would. We really feel like you guys know if you're an expert, right? And so why not just empower the community to create their own expert page? So we have the developer going back and reprogramming that so that you can control the entry of your information. And I see all the comments, and
I was gonna say, if you all can just, I know you're disappointed, but we have some good news. So just hold on.
Tangi, don't be disappointed. It's a change in vision, but I think it's going to be still a good thing. We strongly believe, I strongly believe it's going to be a good thing for what the original mission was, right? When you learn more, you make better decisions. And so that's what we're doing here. We really are recalibrating because we've learned more. Being a portal wasn't all we thought it was going to be initially when we had the idea. We know now that we can make a bigger impact on this community by closely working with the entrepreneurs and the investors, and that's just not something we were able to do. So please, guys, don't be disappointed. The other thing. Oh, go ahead, Sheree.
If I can just add one thing. So when we did our focus groups with the entrepreneurs, the top reason that they told us that the other platforms were not permitting them on is because of the lack of exposure. They didn't have enough people in their social media, in their emails, et cetera. The other thing that happened was George Floyd, as many of us know. So the platforms now have begun to welcome Black entrepreneurs more than they had before. So the market changed. However, and I have a big mouth, many of you know that, we, behind the scenes, we're saying, but we want to be able to really have the conversation about the leakage and the industries that we can get involved with, and how to buy businesses, and how to raise capital, and alternative sources of funding, and all of that. And what Tawana is trying to express is that we wouldn't be able to meet our mission as powerfully under the guise and the thumb of the SEC and FINRA. So I just wanted to add that in. And when we go to the next slide, Tawana's going to talk a little bit more about what the direction is and why we believe that this is a better option for all that are involved.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that, Sheree. The last thing on this list is the Facebook community. That will continue. We're actually going to do away with the member community and just merge the two. Because what we found, again, when you do something and you learn from it, how do you move forward is what makes you a good business. And we believe we want to be the best possible business that we can be for you guys. And what we're finding is the same exact content is happening in both groups. And so what sparked this idea was a member posted, I think it was this week, posted and asked Alicia, well, I gotta see 3 pages here. What's going? Why do I have 3 BBC page, or excuse me, 10K project pages? And there was she was in the members group, she was in the main group, and she was on the business page. And what's funny is I didn't even know we had a business page. I was like, 3 pages? What 3 pages she see? So I learned something that day. And I thought, yeah, that's going to be very, very confusing. And it could be why we don't have the level of daily engagement that we've been looking for. And so we're going to sunset the member group, and everybody's going to be in the one group. We've actually engaged some members who are interested in being moderators for us. So we're going to meet with them next week, and they're going to help us keep the group, lively and keep the content coming, so that we can focus on entrepreneurship, motivating on our entrepreneurs, and then also educating and motivating our investors. Right? So what's new? So we said we wanted to be able to work with the entrepreneurs, right? And we still want to be able to get good deals in front of the investors. Well, the way we're going to do that is we're going to retain that idea we had for the crowdfunding, where we were going to do the bet on Black pitches, right? Remember, we had talked about we were going to bring the entrepreneurs to the community so that you guys could hear their pitch, determine if you want to invest in their project, and then you are going to go over to the 10K portal and invest. The only thing that changes in that model is that now, instead of going to the 10K project portal to invest, you will go to whatever portal these entrepreneurs are already on. Okay? So if they're on WeFunder, you're going to hear their pitch, you're going to love them, you're going to then go to WeFunder and invest in them, or Start Engine, or Republic, or Net Capital, all of the other ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to be looking for these Black entrepreneurs to present to you for us still to support, right? That was the mission, right? Right? If 10,000 of us, right, invested even just $100 in Black entrepreneurs, we're going to help them scale, we're going to help them grow. And so that does not change. The core mission is retained. So when I said, don't be sad, I don't want to see the sad face meme or whatever, this is the thing, right? This is what we all wanted and what we were waiting for. And this stays in the model, right? It also allows us to educate you and be more hands-on. It actually allows us to support more Black businesses, in my opinion, because businesses would have had to choose what platform they wanted to be on, right? And let's just face it, they all were not going to come to 10K just because we were Black owned, right? They just weren't. We know that, right? There's too many platforms out there with the regs changing. They're going to be more coming, right? And so they weren't all coming to us. But this way, we can bring more of them to this community. And then we just go somewhere else to pay our money, but we get to see the pitch. And so what we talked about was, as these entrepreneurs are on their marketing tour, 10K Project becomes the place they want to come, right? They don't come here, they're crazy, because we've got a community of investors waiting for them. And so, we believe that that will allow us to attract. And I like that. Sasha said it'll be like 10K Project Mobile. Yeah, I love that. I love it. I called it our version of the Chitlin Circuit.
Yeah, we the Apollo. We are the Apollo.
They will come to us, right? We still have the numbers, we still have the mission, and we have the passion, and we want to support them. And so they will come to us.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
Not only will we go out and we will see entrepreneurs that are on these platforms, we can also have a support community where we can help with resources to bring great entrepreneurs to platforms, with the understanding that, hey, this is a 10K project member, and the more and more well-known we are, the better we'll be. There's also, many of you may not know this, another Black-owned equity crowdfunding portal out there already. So that may be leveraged. We also will have the opportunity, again, because we're not a portal, to set up sessions where you may want to speak with each other about the pitch you just heard and what do you think of it, and share information. So again, there's going to be a greater ability for us to be able to meet the mission that we originally had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to add too, in this time that we've had together, we've come to realize the depth of knowledge and expertise that this community has. The value of this group is tremendous. And truly, this allows us to have a much broader reach, because it's not only us who'd be looking and for, great opportunities that are out there, but the community. You could bring it to us to take a look at. Absolutely. Like you're saying, Sylvia, absolutely. And there's so many more of us as a group to bring these great entrepreneurs before us that we can all evaluate and whatnot, and have really rich, intelligent conversations about it from the full spectrum of interests as it relates to folks' portfolios and different angles that they want to take. We're learning so much, and the more we know, the more we know how to look and be more strategic entirely. So we don't want to lose the education piece at all. It's truly clear in our group that we have the full spectrum of folks who are like-minded individuals, but at different stages of their investment journeys. And the information that you get here from the 10K project, the interviews and whatnot that we've had, they have been rich, and they cover a multitude of things that allow us to really, cover all types of investments and truly not be hampered and hindered by SEC. So we're just breaking the chains here. Breaking the chains in February. You know what I'm saying? From the SEC.
Like
How about that?
I like that. So
right?
What's funny, so Glenda asked, so while we're breaking the chains from the SEC, I want to give the SEC and FINRA a bit of credit. So okay. Glenda asked the question, what if we have businesses to pitch for capital? So Glenda, this is my position. This question has not come up with the other officers. So if they disagree, I am okay with them disagreeing in real time here. But the one thing I believe that FINRA and that SEC oversight allows for, while it doesn't eliminate fraud, it does allow for it to be less likely to occur, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you say, can we, the community, pitch, if you are approved equity crowdfunding entrepreneur and you're on a platform that is approved, absolutely. But if you are just an entrepreneur who is looking for funding and you are not on an equity crowdfunding site, then unfortunately at this time, that's not in the business model. And the reason is we also want to be very, very protective of this community, right? And I'll go back to some of you who were on last week's pitch. We heard a pitch that we didn't plan to hear, right? Mm-hmm. And last week, some of you may have seen my body language where I was kind of like, wait a minute, like we haven't vetted this idea, right? Because the people we bring to you, we need to know a little something about them. We need to know about the campaign. We need to make sure that it is on an SEC approved site. So there are things we want to do. While we can't guarantee profit, we can't guarantee their business idea is going to do anything. That's not what we're going to do. But what I can guarantee is that they have done the right paperwork to be approved by a FINRA and or SEC approved portal, and that their campaign meets the proper regulations. If it's a Reg A, a Reg D, or Reg CF, I can confirm that. And with last week's impromptu pitch, I couldn't do that, right? And so I think I said 5 times, do your due diligence, right? Do your due diligence, because we didn't have any control over that. I don't want to feel like that again, right? I want to make sure that we've put people in front of you that have been, that we've done our due diligence to the best of our ability, and that they are at least under that oversight, right? They still got some chains on them and that's okay, because we want them to be good stewards of our investment dollars. So for that reason, we would not be allowing just anyone with an amazing idea to pitch for us. So Glenda says, you said you're on Kickstarter, so you're not equity, but you are some kind of rewards-based crowdfunding. I'll have to look into that because I don't know that you have the same legal requirements from a FINRA and SEC standpoint. So I will take that away. And then if we decide to do other crowdfunding, such as reward-based or gift-based, then we will add that into the business model. Okay, but I will write a note right now and take that away. Okay. The next item is that we are going to be expanding our education. So we've been talking about alternative investments. We've got people on the lineup come in, talk about tax liens, as I mentioned, blockchain, crypto, talk about land, more real estate. We really plan to flush this out and cover all of our opportunities because as Dr. Keisha said, we're all at different points in our journey and we're also at different points in our knowledge level, right? We may all know investing is a thing, but we don't know all the ways you can do it, right? The fact that, one of the things this year I learned, or last year, investing in the hotels. Never in a million years would I have ever thought I was able to do something like that. It sounds so unattainable until Tracy Pridmore came and talked to us about it. And now it's like, it sounds pretty attainable, right? So we want to offer those types of things to this community so that we can see all of the vast ways that we can build that generational wealth, right? We also, I'll let Cherie talk about this because this is her baby, but we also want to release our economic report. Cherie, you want to talk about that?
Yes, this is my baby. All righty then. So we started working on an economic report. We're about 90% done. And in that economic report, it's a 25-year long report, and it talks about when we reach our goals with a certain number of businesses funded on an annual basis, and we'll have a certain number of jobs that are created. We'll have a certain amount of businesses that can be supported as subcontractors. And ultimately, right now, we talked about leakage being 98% in the Black community. What does that mean? That means that if you go and do business with a Black entrepreneur, but they have to go and get their supplies and all of their, everything else, their supplies from a non-Black vendor, that's called leakage. And right now, our community has a 98% leakage. We want to focus on reducing that leakage amount. So we're going to be coming out hopefully in the next couple of months with that economic report. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the industries that we want to pursue. And then part of what the 10K project will do over time, which is the next bullet point, is we'll start having some industry Zoom meetings, whether it's entertainment or logistics or agriculture, where we start getting specific about, what can we do to reduce the leakage? Are there businesses that we can start? Are there businesses that we can buy? How can we do this so that we can reduce that leakage number? So I'm very, very passionate about this. And again, the SEC and FINRA would have never allowed us to do this. And Tawan and the other officers will say, I was like behind the scenes going, but I really want to do this. And they're saying, no, you can't, so this enables us to do so much. I mean, we were talking about the fact that we wouldn't have been able to go into churches and sororities and promote equity crowdfunding in the 10K project and all the things that we were going to do. I saw someone ask the question, they're so confused why we're switching directions. There were so many restrictions for us that we would not have been able to attain the original goal of helping Black entrepreneurs truly get the capital that they need and bringing the community in and along for the ride in order to be able to achieve those goals. So Tawana, the next is the enhancing the newsletter. I'll talk about that as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to scroll through the comments. So
yeah, there's a lot of comments and questions.
Yeah.
So we will definitely get to as many as we can, but enhancing the newsletter, you will begin to see that the newsletter is going to turn from just a list of calendar of events to real articles being written by our team with regards to Black wealth building and growth. We hope to have a blog on the website. We hope that you will be able to take that information and pass it along to other people and share it as well. And then we've also signed up for a text messaging software. And I'd love everybody to put a 2 in the chat if we had a Bet on Black pitch scheduled, and we, of course, let you know in the newsletter, but we pinged you 10 minutes in advance to say, hey, the Bet on Black pitch is happening in 10 minutes. Would you want to receive that text message? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 2s in here come through. Perfect. Then we're going to implement the text messaging system for the Bet on Black pitches so that you don't miss those. So thank you so much for telling me that. Thank you. Tawana, Keisha, Talisha, and Eric, does anybody else have anything else on this slide?
No, but I do have a comment.
Yes.
Yeah. Just recently, in the past couple of weeks, there was an article, not just one article, multiple articles written in BuzzFeed, LA Times, CNBC, and it was all talking about the Clubhouse app and how the Clubhouse app has now reached a $1 billion valuation. But that $1 billion valuation only came by the way of Black people themselves migrating to the app, using the app. And when you look and you begin to peel back the layers of it, you begin to see, Black intelligence, Black thought, Black creativity, Black art. All of these things are the things that we deploy on behalf of some other founders so that they could then become, wealthy off of, once again, all of the Black ingenuity and even Black entrepreneurship within the app itself. And, to me, this is, once again, this is like neocolonialism, happening right now in our time. And it's time finally that we really do need to address that. And one of the things that's really important is for Black entrepreneurs, because they aren't heavily funded from the start, they work best with a village, with an ecosystem. And what we found out was anytime you have us end up becoming hamstrung by government agencies so that we can't give the effort that we need in order for those Black entrepreneurs and Black founders to be successful, that is thereby, basically just working against us. So a lot of that was a lot of the thought for everyone to understand that came into mind when we made this decision.
Thank you for that, Eric. And I'll add, I read something that said 65 to 70% of Clubhouse users are Black.
There you go.
Wow.
Look what we did
We
for a
do.
company that 2 hour as of what, a week and a half ago when I made this statement the first time, no Black board members and no Black investors, no Black person on the cap table. Mm-hmm. So,
and they were failing in July. That app
there you go. That's the other part.
Almost 12 months ahead of time, was literally about to close their doors in July of last year.
Wow.
And it was only because they took the email blitz strategy and did something very novel and connected with explicitly the people that they wanted to, that changed the directory of it, because they were literally about to close those doors. They were like, it's either go home or we're done. And that's what happened. And so in that small amount of time, there was a significant change within the whole entire aspect of who was using the application. And that's a very important part of not just who built it. Because again, it could be anything. There's many platforms in the App Store or, wherever. But at the same time, who is using them and at what rate and level are they using them?
That's a very good point, Talisha.
Exactly.
And so we have the power when we come together, right? When we come together and we have some freedoms, we come together, we can make amazing things happen. I want to answer a couple of questions. I see some questions. I want to go back up to Honor Benson's question. And Honor Benson says, what is the real issue? Is it the liability? Were you not able to raise the funds for the application? I'm not understanding. So let me try to break it down. First, let me answer your questions clearly. What's the real issue? I told you the real issue. The real issue is we want to be able to do more. And as a portal, we have clear guidelines on what we can and what we cannot do. And unfortunately, the what we cannot do list had some things on it we want to do. And so that's the real issue, right? In a nutshell. Is there liability? Yeah, there were going to be liabilities. We knew that, which is why we had attorneys and all of that. So the liability is not the thing. We knew there were going to be liabilities when we started this. Were you not able to raise the money for the funds for the application? The application was filed. So no, that wasn't the case either. We made a business decision that this just wasn't the direction we wanted to go in anymore. And while I do personally understand that that's going to be up for scrutiny, right? Some of you will believe that. Some of you walk away and be like, she full of you know what? And that's okay, right? Because I'm probably the person that would have walked away from this conversation like, I don't know, right? But that's perfectly okay, right? But the truth of the matter is we get to change our mind. We get to see what we're doing, right? And we get to look in the future and say, does this still fit the mission that we wanted to accomplish when we all decided to do this as an extra business, right? Because we all either have day jobs or have businesses already. And so when we looked at this and said, is this how we want to continue our time, right? And building and making this business model successful, the answer wasn't yes unanimously. The answer was, I think we could do more. Now, will we make as much money? Probably not, especially since they just raised it to $5 million on a Reg CF. I'm gonna be honest, probably not. We probably will not make more money with this new model. But it was never about the money. Now, the money was good. Again, I'm never gonna be the one that's gonna tell you a whole bunch of BS. Money is important, right? We all need it to survive. We all are building generational wealth for our families as well. So this model is not going to be more money. But the more money model wasn't the mission. And so we had to make a very difficult decision, right? But we made that decision, and we believe we made the right one for the future of this business and of the community that we were starting to serve to begin with. The other question, Anna, I hope that helps you understand. And if not, please feel free. You could email me directly at trivers@the10kproject.com. I can answer any additional questions you may have, or you can ask them here. The other question someone asked, I lost the comment, but I wrote it down, it was about the business model. Like how are we going to make money with the new model? I can't find the question anymore, but I think that was the question. So we hope to be able to, all of these entrepreneurs have a marketing budget, right? So very much like we advertised in different publications, many of you came to us because we advertised in certain publications and you saw us there. So we're gonna have a marketing fee, right? So if people want to come to the community, they'll have to pay a marketing fee to join us. We also have found over the last year that when the wonderful guests that we have come here, they oftentimes have products, right? So they have, I know I have bought more books than I can read in a year because they have brought books to us, right? Some of them have brought courses to us. I think I bought like 3 of those I ain't go to yet. So, they have things that are enticing to us as we're on this journey, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to have an affiliate program. So as guests come and they join us, if they have a book or a program, I'm sorry, now you hear my dogs growling, I'm sorry. If they have a book or a program and they have an affiliate code that they can give us, then, if our community purchases those things, yeah, we bought Twyla Garrett's book. Yeah, exactly. I bought flashcards from the one young lady who did the financial stuff with the kids, right? I ain't had no kids. I bought the flashcard. I bought a flashcard. I ain't got no kids. I don't have little kids. But one day, I guess maybe some little kid will come around and be like, look, I got some flashcards. I don't know. I just wanted to support. So, but my point is, as those things are happening, then, we will get a percentage or, whatever their affiliate code gives you. We won't make that mandate because most entrepreneurs have their own 10%, 15%, they have their own affiliate programs. And so we'll be a member of that. And we're still working through. Go ahead, Cherie. Oh, and the membership. Oh, right. And the membership. Right. So all of you are members of 10K. That won't change. Membership is still $100 lifetime.
People will have to be members to come to the Bet on Black pitches. People will have to be members to come to the Bet on Black pitches. So we are looking to that, because then we're able to say, look, people are invested in coming to hear the pitches. And yes, and then there'll also be other members only webinars and peer-to-peer, the industry Zoom meetings that we talked about, those things will be members only. So there is a benefit to being inside of this circle.
Very good. I saw a question for Talisha. The question,
you
answered it. Okay. I'm like, they scroll so fast. Okay.
There's a few in the Q&A if you want to grab those. I think that another thing that you need to think about from a very tactical perspective is the difference between, and I'll speak about it from a tech perspective, tech can only do so much. And being a technical company, you have to understand that there's a limitation to just putting your tech out there, because you can only do so much with that. Whereas you have a business built on top of tech is a whole different purview. And so this business was truly built on the aspect of a true business model that was going to be supplemented by the tech. So nothing has changed. That's really the kind of the thing. Everyone's like, oh, the business hasn't even pivoted. This is 1 and 2 of the first thing. It was getting people together, forming a community, and being able to educate them. Those were the first 2 pillars of this business. The third was to offer them a space. So as I put in earlier, there's a difference between having a strategy and having access to strategy than just having a space. Because I can tell you to go to Walmart, but I can't tell you what to buy there. But if I tell you this is how you get your groceries for 20% off, that's what you're paying me for. You're paying me for the strategy, not for the place you're going to. So think of it in that aspect, that you've gotten 1 and 2 out of the 3 things that were offered to you. And the first 2 are much more valuable to you than the space, because the space is innocuous. You can go anywhere and do this, because that 5 million goes to every platform that's available to you. But that strategy isn't going to be given to you. You have to pay for that somewhere, or it's not even offered at those other places as well. So that's where you're kind of looking at what you're getting for what you're not getting. So I said, if you want to balance that out, you're getting a whole lot more than that little space that you thought you were going to go to.
If I may, I'd like to share my screen and just reiterate something for everyone as well. I often talk about the ecosystem that we're building. So, the entrepreneurs that are coming to us now, they're not forced to do this. We recognize that. However, we have some great entrepreneurs out there that want to do business with Black service professionals, and they want to have Black investors involved in their businesses. So when we start looking at this circle here of the entrepreneurs being able to come in and do their pitches, and then everyday people like you and I being able to invest in their businesses, and then these entrepreneurs, once they get funding, being able to tap back into the community for all sorts of services and goods and products that they need. This overall is one of the big visions that I would love to see happening within the 10K project, where, somebody has a need, we see it in their business plan, and we're able to connect with that entrepreneur and say, look, based on your pitch, you said you're going to do X with the money. I can help you with that. Is it possible for us to have, a Zoom sit down or whatever and talk about it? And business can be done amongst each other or with each other as well. Nothing would give me greater joy than to look at our economic report 25 years from now and be able to say, probably to Dr. Claude Anderson's spirit, by the time we are doing this, we're the living manifestation of Powernomics in our own way. So I wanted to mention that as well, because some of the things that had come up in the questions were things that, sparked this for me.
Yeah, well said. Antoine says, and I'll go back to the Q&A. Antoine says, did you all think about equity crowdfunding being the for-profit arm and the education being the nonprofit? We absolutely did. It still would require us to run two businesses. And again, we would still not be able to do the things we wanted to do with the entrepreneurs because we would still be the same people running the business. And so from an investment standpoint, you'd be okay because we could just put a bunch of investment information out there to educate the investors. But some of that hand holding we wanted to do with the entrepreneurs, we wouldn't still be able to do that. So we absolutely did think about that, Antoine. I want to go to the Q&A. There were two questions there. The first question was Sasha. She says, was there or is there now a method of partnering with Black banks, i.e. One United, Carver Bank Corp, Greenwood, Broadway Financial, et cetera, for investing leverage? Now that you said that, I think we'll be thinking about it. I absolutely think that there is a way that we can do that. We have not talked about that yet, but I absolutely believe there's a possibility there.
Yeah, so we, many of you were on the call last week that we had with the SBA lender, which, shout out to everyone who was there. That chat was like hopping last night or last week. And yeah, these are the things we want to be able to bring to the table, definitely. And then be able to leverage, our Black owned banks and, other types of alternative funders as well. So, Dr. Claude also tells us in his own way to do business with everybody. So we may go and get, the other ethnicities' money in order to funnel it to us so that we're able to build our own businesses too. And there's nothing wrong with that. We may be able to help, not as a 10K project, but within the ecosystem. There are some of you who are going to want to do business with Fortune 500 companies. Well, let's start talking about how we make that happen. There's $17 billion between 3 large companies that they have promised to Black and Hispanic businesses. My question is the money going to funnel to us? What do we need to do in order to, be in the right places? So this is, again, some of the impediments we had with the application with the oversight from FINRA and SEC that we don't have to worry about now. Yeah.
There's another question. There were 2 questions. I'm going to answer them at the same time. There was one in the chat and then there's one here in the Q&A. And it's essentially about the $100 membership that was paid. The person in the chat, I believe, says, what about the investment we made in 10K? And I want to be sure we're using the right terminology. The $100 membership fee that many of you, because I don't know if this is not a member only event, right? So this is many of you paid was for the Knowledge Center, right? Access to our content, access to all of our webinars or to the webinars that were exclusively member only, but then also to the other ones. And then it was also to the opportunity to invest in these businesses, right? Via the crowdfunding portal, because that's where we thought we were going with it. And so I want to make sure that I answer this question very carefully for you, because the other question in the Q&A is how can we get a refund, right? Because I believe Aluchi's question alludes to, your different business model, not what I signed up for, how can I get a refund? And so you actually have been getting what you signed up for, and because you still have access to all of those things. The only difference, as Felicia so eloquently shared, is that the tech upon which you would have been exposed to those things is no longer going to be the way you're exposed to those things. With that said, if you want a refund, then send info@10kproject.com an email, and we will make sure you get one, because we don't want anyone to feel like we took your money, right? We believe this last year, we've given content worth thousands of dollars at this point, right? All of the people that have been presented in front of us, we believe that was worth a lot more than $100. But if that $100 is something you want back because you don't believe so, then please, info@10kproject.com. And we will make sure you get your $100.
Info@the10kproject.com.
Oh, excuse me, info@the10k. Sorry. Info@the10. See, I didn't try to give you the wrong email address by mistake, on purpose. Be like, that was a glitch. info@the10kproject.com, right? Any other I want to see if there's any other questions about the money before we move forward, because I don't want anyone to walk away tonight with that on your mind, right? They took my money. I don't want that to be a thing. Okay. All righty. Oluchi says, how it was presented is if 10,000 of us can, right. If 10,000 of us contribute $100 to an entrepreneur, think about the impact we can make. That $100 was about the $100 minimum that would have been the fee on the crowdfunding portal. So if you guys remember what our model was we were going to be the portal, and in order to invest in the businesses, you would have $100 minimum. And your maximum was whatever the SEC allowed based on your net worth, right? So that's where that $100 came in at. The $100 minimum to invest in a campaign. And if 10,000 of us did that, that could be $1 million for an entrepreneur that could make a difference in scaling their business. It wasn't the $100 membership. And we did learn early on that we probably should have made membership $97, right? So that it wasn't confusing. But by that time, the $100 genie was already out of the bottle, and we had already confused things. But that $100, if 10,000 of us gave $100, that was about the $100 minimum. But Oluchi, see you saying, wow, again, I don't know if you're a sister or brother, but either way, we got you. If you send an email, you can have that $100 back this evening. I really don't want you to feel like, I don't want anyone to feel like this was some kind of bait and switch. We made a business decision to go in a different direction, and we have to stand by that because it's a decision we made collectively as officers, even though that meant we won't be working with two people that we are close with. We've worked with every day, nonstop, 5-6 times a day on calls for the last year. And so we made a very difficult decision. And giving you $100 back is the easiest of all of this. We could do that this evening. I don't want you to walk away feeling like there was some kind of bait and switch, because it wasn't. We really just made a business decision to go in a different direction. So I want you to believe that we knew that the $100 would come up as a question, right? Because we did say there was membership, and we did say we were trying to be something, and now we're not trying to be that. So I just want you to understand that is not, if that's the only issue you have with us, is that you want your $100 back, we got you.
Yeah, so one of the questions came up about the Family Wealth Challenge, if we're going to do it again. So after going through the whole Family Wealth Challenge, first of all, the information is awesome. I believe it is within the Family Wealth Challenge. However, we felt like that was better as a course instead of doing a full challenge. So that course is in the Knowledge Center, and anyone who's a member now, you have access to the Family Wealth course. I think it's through a member through, is it December, Tawana? I
Yes.
can't remember.
Yes.
If you were a member through that began before December 31st, you automatically have access to the Family Wealth Challenge. So we suggest that you do some self-study. We're also going to have the book club on tomorrow and next Tuesday. And then we'll every once in a while have some peer-to-peer conversations about family banks as well. We may invite other families in who are doing it to talk about what they're doing, et cetera. But we've decided, as with any organization, you can only focus on a couple of big initiatives at a time. And we've decided that the Knowledge Center and the alternative investments and the equity crowdfunding and the Bet on Black pitches are going to be probably the two primary ones that we're really going to focus on for the community. So, but I did want to answer that. The other thing about the $100 is that our tagline is going to be money, how do you make it? How do you manage it? And how do you multiply it? Well, that's not the tagline, but that's the, the one sentence. And with that, every guest that we're bringing on is going to focus on one of those three things. So we're going to really focus on how do you make more money, whether you want to start a side hustle, whether you want to leave your corporate job and move to full-time in business. I have a woman coming on in a couple of weeks, I think it is, to talk about reskilling. So how do you get the certifications you need? How do you set up your LinkedIn so that the recruiters call you and she is a recruiter? Like, how do you have the right information in so that when the recruiters are looking through their huge database, your name pops up, you get a phone call? Those are the types of things we're talking about. On the manage it side, we're going to be talking about everything from budgeting to some of the other things that I think are important to managing your wealth, that, I'm going to present to the officers, but I think it's going to be in line. Actually, it is in line partially with mental health and physical health, because if you don't have your physical health, you can't run, as well in the wealth building journey. And then how do you multiply it? We're going to be talking about all sorts of alternative investments as well. So the $100 is, again, a one-time payment for membership. And we do believe that there will be something, if not in this year, I would say in the next 6 to 8 weeks, that would be far worth the $100. And you can also go into the Knowledge Center that Dr. Keisha has been populating in order to look at past webinars that we've had as well. So, and if there is a topic that you want to see, let us know. info@the10kproject.com. If it fits within one of those three buckets, we'll consider it. If there is a person that you think we should have on the platform, preferably if you know them, you have access to them, and you can do a virtual email introduction, please do. We will take a look at those people. If you are the person who is the specialist, in one of those three areas, let us know that as well. So
I see a couple more questions. Make sure we're good on time. I see a couple more questions. Nate says, the name of the group is aligned with the original goal. Will the name change to reflect the new mission? Nate, I think that the name is still aligned with the new vision as well. Remember, part of what we're still going to be doing is highlighting these entrepreneurs that have crowdfunding initiatives. And so that concept of us all getting together and investing in their business, right? Our community, and we hope our community will grow to 10,000 and then 20 and 50 and 100 and so on and so forth. But that concept still, in my opinion, is still very relevant. And so there wouldn't be a name change based on that, because I think it still is in line. Tandanico says, do we have a Black-owned business we can work for as side hustle until we get our business going? That's the kind of conversation I think we should be having in the Facebook group, right? Any Black-owned businesses need some help. I'm a marketer. Who needs a marketer? I'm a this. Who needs a that? That's the kind of engagement we're looking for in that Facebook group. While you can't solicit in the group, you can absolutely offer your services. That's different, right? Offering your products is solicitation. Offering your services to someone is not solicitation, right? That's what we're talking about, the group economic piece, right? I'm working on my business, but I've got an hour free a week. Who needs some marketing advice? I see Michael in here talking about giving some kind of free information in the Knowledge Center. I know Michael also has some other stuff going on that we need to talk to him and better understand it, to make sure it's something that we want him, communicating to you guys as a community. So those kind of things are okay. And that's exactly what that Facebook group is meant to be, a place where we all come together and share our knowledge, right? We also share the exciting stories that's happening as a community of Black people, right? To see the successes of people who look like us. We've been highlighting those because we believe that's going to motivate us to stick with it, right? But it's also a place where we should be highlighting ourselves and offering our services up and sharing our knowledge with one another.
And we had quite a few people put the things they need help with in here. So definitely look in the Facebook group. And if we have enough people who want to put it in the newsletter, we will have to hire somebody to help assemble all of that. But if it's enough of a need, and again, we're very passionate about that circle, then, we'll consider it.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. Any final comments from all of us before we go? I know we've got a hard stop. Some of us have another meeting to go to at 7:30.
We have an 8 o'clock with Chris Senegal, who is
that a members only session tonight?
That is a members only. So everybody check your emails from earlier today. And for all of our new members, I will send out another link to you. So definitely want to make sure that you are there for that 8 o'clock. He is talking about real estate crowdfunding and some of the other things he's done as well. He's got an amazing story. So, all righty then.
Comments?
Oh, Dr. Cherie, hello. I'm going to email you as well. I'm glad to see you here tonight.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah, looks like most people are ready to ride.
Yeah. Yeah. Eric Tilly should have said they're going to miss you.
Yeah,
we're going to miss everyone. We really are. This is something that, I speak to Alicia for you too, is very close to our hearts, is building the Black community, building Black entrepreneurship, and building Black wealth. So yeah, I'll be very close. I'm not going anywhere. When it comes to being a part of the community, I'm going to be right here.
Yeah, Paul, email me info@the10kproject.com. Make sure that you check your spam too, just in case, but email me.
And I know we didn't get to all the questions. I'm telling you, they were scrolling quickly at one point. But if you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to email those to us. Again, I don't want to say it enough times. If you want the refund, also email us. I don't want anyone to walk away from this conversation feeling like they are not whole and feeling like you have to go and complain about 10K because they did you wrong. That's not what this is. So if you feel wronged in any way, or if you just decide this is not what you thought it was going to be and you don't want to do it anymore, that's okay too. You don't even have to have a whole lot of reason. Email us and we will make you whole. Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
We'll see members at 8 o'clock, and the rest of you will see in the community.
Take care. Good night, everybody.